The day she walked out, she didn't even bother to shut the door. Suitcases sat on the porch like soldiers, waiting orders. Her family clustered behind her, 6 of them, heads down, putting on shame while quietly celebrating. "I'm leaving," she said, "for good this time." Her voice was steady. That's what told me she'd actually left me long before that morning. The taxi door slam was the last honest sound I heard for months. We met 12 years ago at a wedding of all places. She wore gold that caught every bit of light in the room, and when she smiled, it felt like the world had finally picked me. We built everything together: the house, the business, the plans. I thought we were partners. She thought I was a stepping stone. It began small: late work calls, sudden obsessions with travel. I didn't confront her. I watched. Watching is how you learn the truth, by seeing what people do when they think you aren't paying attention. The first confirmation came from a slip name. She called me by his name and froze mid-sentence, pretending it was nothing. That trembling pause said everything. She tried "be careful," deleting messages, whispering in the bathroom, keeping her phone face down, but patterns don't lie. I traced everything quietly: a shared flight itinerary, hidden messages in cloud backups, photos, him, a man she'd once introduced as a distant cousin from abroad. Distant, yes. Cousin, no. When I found out about the wedding plans, I didn't fall apart. I smiled. In betrayal, there's always an angle if you know how to use it. I moved deliberately. First step: sell the house. Legally, it was mine. Years ago, she convinced me to add her as a co-owner for trust. What she didn't know was that I'd changed it back months earlier at the first sign. Trust, it turns out, is best served revoked. I sold quietly through a friend's agency. Clean deal, cash up front. Then I funneled the ownership papers and the sale money into a new company she didn't even know existed. Next, I erased her from our life digitally and financially. I wiped joint accounts, closed cards, liquidated the business she used as her playground. Every account with her signature was frozen, legally airtight and perfectly timed. Then I waited. 2 months later, she left for abroad, with him waiting there and her 6 family members following. Their plan was straightforward. She'd divorce me overseas, marry him, and move back to live happily ever after in the house I'd built. I received her divorce notice the same week she posted their engagement photos. The irony felt almost poetic. She filed for freedom right after signing her own ruin. I didn't fight the divorce. I signed everything immediately and made it easy. Exactly what she wanted: my compliance. But every signature I gave buried her deeper into the trap I'd set. Months later, they returned. Not for me, for the house. They expected the white gates, the garden she bragged about, the marble floors she called her empire. Instead, there was nothing, just an empty cleared lot, fenced off and marked sold. She stood there with her suitcase in hand, staring at the dirt as if the ground itself had betrayed her. Her lover tried to ask questions. I watched from my car across the street, silent and patient. One of her brothers called, voice shaking, "Where's the house?" I answered calmly, "My house? You mean the one I sold 6 months ago?" Then silence. Then the panic as realization hit. Her face, a mix of confusion, regret, and raw disbelief. She understood too late that she'd left me holding the knife. But I use it differently, not for blood, but with precision. She tried to fight in court, claiming emotional manipulation, joint ownership, fraud. But her signatures were on every document. Her approval was stamped on every transaction. She wasn't present for the deals she signed off on. She'd left willingly, abandoned claims in the divorce, walked straight into her own eraser. The lover vanished the moment he realized there was no money, no property, no future. He couldn't even cross the street for her after crossing oceans. Her family turned against her one by one. Each of them had tasted the promise of wealth, and now tasted dust. Last week she came to see me alone. She stood at my gate in front of my new house, smaller, but mine, and said, "I never thought you'd be capable of this." I looked her in the eye and replied, "You never thought I'd be capable of anything." She tried to argue, to scream, to apologize, but the words dissolved. I watched the weight of it finally sink in. She'd gambled everything on a man who vanished and lost everything to man she underestimated. She left without another word, and this time she shut the gate. People say revenge is poison. Maybe it is. But when someone burns your home to the ground, isn't it justice to hand them the ashes they built? I didn't destroy her life. I removed myself from it and watched what remained crumble under its own lies. Now, when I pass that empty lot where our house once stood, I don't feel anger, just peace. Sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't what you take. It's what they lose on their own once you finally walk away.